Have you ever stood somewhere so quiet you could hear your own heartbeat echo? Imagine that silence, stretching for miles, a place where no bird dares to sing, no insect hums, and even the wind seems afraid to move. There's a forest that doesn't welcome life, a place where shadows don't just fall, they follow, where people vanish and time itself seems to shudder. They call it the haunted forest that no one dares to enter. And tonight, we walk its edge. Welcome to Dreamrot Vault. They say the forest lies deep in the Carpathian Mountains in the heart of Romania. Locals whisper its name like a curse, Hoia Baciu. On the surface, it's a tangle of trees and mist, ancient roots twisting through the soil like veins. But beneath that beauty hides something that watches, something that hungers. For centuries, people have disappeared there. Villagers, soldiers, even children. Each story different, yet the same. They go in, and they don't come out. It began decades ago, when a shepherd entered the woods with his flock of 200 sheep. Hours passed, then days. When the villagers searched for him, all they found was silence. No footprints, no bones, no trace of the sheep. Just a strange stillness, as if the forest had swallowed them whole. Since that day, no one dared to cross the tree line at dusk. But time erases fear, and curiosity is cruel. In 1968, a man named Emil Barnea, a military technician, ventured into the forest to capture photographs of strange lights people had reported above the trees. He was no believer in ghosts or curses. But that night, he saw something no logic could explain. A disk of silver light hovering silently in the sky, so close he could hear the air vibrate. He took pictures, real, solid proof. But when he left that forest, something inside him broke. Friends said he became pale, distant, paranoid. He moved away soon after, muttering about faces watching him through his windows at night. Then came the girl, a child who vanished without a sound. Search parties scoured the woods for weeks until hope began to fade. But 5 years later, she walked out, from the same path she disappeared into. She hadn't aged a single day. Her hair, her clothes, everything was exactly as it had been. She couldn't remember what happened, only that she'd heard the forest breathing, slow, heavy, alive. People began to fear the very air around the woods. Travelers said the forest was a trap, that once you crossed its border, it changed you. Compasses spin aimlessly, shadows stretch in directions they shouldn't, and sometimes the forest moves. Paths twist, trees rearrange themselves as if they're trying to keep you lost. Some say the land itself resents being walked upon. A team of scientists once decided to study the strange circular clearing inside the forest, a place where nothing grows. No grass, no flowers, no moss. It's as if the earth itself rejects life. They camped there overnight. Around midnight, one of them woke up screaming. She said she saw something standing beyond her tent, tall, skin like bark, hollow eyes glowing faintly through the dark. She shone her flashlight, but it vanished. Only a single footprint remained, a deep, heavy impression in the soil, twice the size of a human's. She quit her job and left the country days later. Others have seen lights, floating spheres, glowing like fireflies but moving with purpose. One man reached out to touch one and felt an icy sting shoot through his arm. When he looked later, frost-shaped marks curled around his wrist, like fingers that had clung to him. Another described hearing laughter, children laughing, faint and distant. But when he followed it, the laughter led him back to the same barren clearing every time. There's a story about a hunter who tried to test the curse. He entered at noon, confident, armed, fearless. He was supposed to return by sunset. He didn't. When they found him 2 days later, he was sitting at the forest's edge, his eyes open, but his mind gone. He kept whispering one thing over and over. "It knows me now." People who visit often speak of time breaking apart. Watches stop. Hours vanish. Some come out after what feels like minutes, but days have passed. Others walk for what seems like hours, but it's only been seconds. The forest bends reality. It swallows time like it swallows light. One tourist took a photograph near the circle, smiling beside a tree. When she developed the picture, a pale hand rested on her shoulder. But she had been alone. The hand was long, thin, translucent, the skin cracked like old bark. She burned the picture. But for months afterward, she dreamed of the same forest. Only this time, she wasn't standing outside it. She was deep within. And something was standing behind her. Locals won't go near the forest anymore. Even the animals refuse to cross. Birds fly around it, not over it. Dogs whimper when dragged too close. Hunters say that deer stop at its border, their ears twitching to sounds humans can't hear. A shepherd once lost his entire flock to the woods. They simply ran in and never came out. He followed them. And that was the end of him. His wife said that night she could still hear the sheep bleating somewhere in the distance, long after they should have been dead. Scientists tried to explain it. Magnetic fields, radiation, hallucinations caused by mold. But none of it adds up. Instruments malfunction, batteries drain, and even GPS devices lose signal. Photos come out distorted, warped, with strange shadows crawling across the frame. In one picture, a face appears where there should be none. Eyes wide, mouth open as if screaming silently. Some who visit the forest say they feel something touching them. A hand brushing against their shoulder, fingers threading through their hair. But when they turn, nothing's there. Just trees. And the faint sound of whispering, like words carried on the wind. No one can make out what's being said. But some claim, if you listen long enough, it starts to sound like your name. A paranormal investigator once live-streamed his walk through the forest. His camera shook as he pushed deeper, his breath ragged. The fog thickened until it swallowed everything. Then his voice dropped to a whisper. He said, "It's not night here. It's something else." The stream cut out. They never found him. Even today, the forest stands untouched. Locals burn sage when passing by, whispering prayers to keep the forest from noticing them. They say if it remembers your voice, it calls you back. And once it does, it never stops. If you ever find yourself standing at the edge of Hoia Baciu, with the mist curling around your feet and the trees leaning in close, you'll feel it, that weight in the air, that unseen pulse beneath the ground. The forest doesn't need to chase you. It only waits. It listens. And sometimes it breathes your name back to you. The wind grows louder, then stops. Only silence remains, deep and endless. Like, share, and subscribe for more dark stories from Dreamrot Vault.